Hello and welcome to Valley View News. I'm Alexa Kosten.
And I'm Spencer Ferreira.
Hurricane Helene made landfall in Florida as a Category 4 hurricane. Over 120 people have been killed and millions have been left without power, water, and cell phone reception. Tons of roads have been closed, making it difficult for people to get around. President Biden is set to visit the affected areas, and the White House said his visit will take place as soon as it will not disrupt emergency response services. Vice President Harris and former President Trump have also sent out their condolences. We'll have more on hurricane season from our weather anchor, Jess Brumana, in just a bit.
5 people are dead after a single-engine plane crashed in North Carolina while trying to land. The crash occurred near the Wright Brothers National Memorial Airport after the plane caught fire and went down in a wooded area. The FAA and National Transportation Safety Board are investigating the tragic incident.
The bridge fire is near 100% containment. The affected communities are still recovering, and being evacuated can be one of the scariest things someone has to experience. For this pair of roommates, it was anything but predictable.
The communities of Wrightwood, Mount Baldy, and Pinion Hills were completely devastated by the bridge fire. With over 54,000 acres burned, people were forced out of their homes and had to quickly think on their feet about what to grab and where to go. It's a situation that you can prepare for, but it is a completely different experience in the heat of the moment.
It's something that I've always thought about, been around fires most of my life, but never had to actually leave. And so you're thinking, important things, but you don't really know what those important things are until you have limited space and 2 dogs to pile in the car.
The fire was expanding quickly and roads were closing as the evacuations were being enforced. However, there were still people that needed to get home so that they could take some stuff with them. Police weren't allowing anyone by, even if it was to get their pets. One evacuee made sure to get home, even if it meant taking a completely different route.
So I couldn't just take a major road, no matter how much I told them, hey, I need to get my dog, I need to get my stuff. I need to help my roommates who are still at home. They didn't care. They wouldn't let me in. So I basically had to make my own way home.
And that road back home was anything but easy.
We went through uncharted territory, essentially. Up multiple different mountains, through bushes. We even saw a rattlesnake at one point. And thankfully none of us got bit. But I was just covered in scratches and everything.
Given the severity of the fire, the firefighters still worked very hard.
The firefighters did an amazing job, going up to Wrightwood, the town I live close to. You can see they somehow kept it away from almost everything significant, somehow, and forced it up the mountain ridges that weren't a problem, where there was no homes.
Spencer, thank you. The New York Times has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris, calling her the only patriotic choice for president. This endorsement is not surprising, as the New York Times has not endorsed a Republican president since 1956 with Dwight Eisenhower. The Times calls former President Trump an unworthy candidate to serve as President of the United States.
The first and only vice presidential debate between Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance is set to take place in New York City this week. The pair will face off less than 40 days before the election and just weeks after former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential debate. The event will be hosted by CBS and moderated by evening news anchor Norah O'Donnell and Chief Foreign Affairs correspondent Margaret Brennan.
The leader of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, was killed by an Israeli airstrike in Beirut last Friday. He is being seen by Hezbollah as a sacred martyr as they vow to continue their fight against Israel. Israel's defense minister says the next stage of the war will start soon. They have declared a closed military zone on its border with Lebanon.
President Biden has announced that he will have a meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He told reporters that an all-out war must be avoided at all costs. The Biden administration is working with Israeli defenses as they are worried about another attack from Iran.
The Biden administration has announced a new Medicare rebate for specific drugs for seniors and people with disabilities enrolled in Medicare. They will see new lowered rates on their medications. The new rebate provided by drug companies will save patients between $1,000 and $3,854. This reduction will cut costs for more than 800,000 Medicare users.
Governor Gavin Newsom is receiving criticism from supporters after vetoing bills that were passed by the state legislature. One of the most prominent bills is an AI regulatory bill that would require developers to consider if AI systems could cause harm. Newsom vetoed the bill, noting that it is only focusing on larger AI models, even though smaller AI models can also cause harm.
SoCal Transit Week is here with the goal to promote sustainable transportation alternatives across the community. Move LA is partnering with America Walks, Week Without Driving, and the Coalition for Clean Air. Events are taking place across Southern California to get the community involved.
A car chase ended in a destructive crash on CSUN's campus, injuring a student and a colleague of ours. From our partners at the Sundial, Quinn Alexander was on the scene.
A CSUN journalism alumni has been hospitalized after colliding with a vehicle involved in a police chase. Sergeant Michael Amato was around the corner when he was notified of a black Escalade reported to be stolen.
The vehicle was last seen southbound on Lindley, and as it made the westbound turn, it collided with another vehicle and ended up colliding with a truck.
Sergeant Amato says the suspect fled on foot, barricading himself in Matador Hall.
When I pulled up, I saw him. He was running across the lawn. He's about male Hispanic, wearing a blue hoodie and black shorts, I believe. Brought in additional units to surround the area. They cut him off so he couldn't go anywhere else. He went inside the hall, and there was only one person that was matching that description.
Sergeant Amato says the suspect was going over 100 miles an hour down Lindley Avenue before colliding into a silver Ford Focus belonging to Bea Barros. Barros sustained an injury on her right side of her thigh and hip and was sent to the Northridge Medical Center. She has since been discharged from the hospital. In Northridge, for the Sundial, I'm Quinn Alexander.
Quinn, thank you. Users are reporting problems for Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile. Verizon reported the highest spikes, which surpassed 100,000 outage reports. While internet providers are working to restore services after Hurricane Helene struck, some users are reporting problems even from outside the storm zone.
DirecTV is buying their rival company, Dish Network. With the deal, DirecTV is paying Dish's owner, EchoStar, just $1 in exchange for the company. However, DirecTV will also be taking on the $2 billion debt that Dish has.
More to come on Valley View News. Mexico welcomes its first ever female president. Former President Jimmy Carter celebrates a very special birthday year, and we give thanks to hardworking principals.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Okay, here we go, throw it! Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Nice.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back. As Hispanic Heritage Month continues, we want to share stories about small businesses and the impact they have on the Latino community. Our Eliza Portillo is in the Digital News Media Center with a story highlighting culture and food. Eliza?
Alexa, I had the opportunity to speak with and tell the story of a Salvadoran woman who wants people to share her love for her culture's food. Food plays a huge role in Hispanic culture. With its diverse ingredients and cooking techniques, Latino dishes have the ability to bring people together and create a sense of connection. Yesenia Moreno Portillo immigrated to the U.S. from El Salvador 3 years ago for the opportunity to live a better life. She started a home-based food business to represent the culture she is proud to be a part of.
Porque me gusta. Primero me gusta.
I like making the food I learned how to cook growing up. I think food is really important back home, and I want to share it with people here. The dish she makes the most of is pupusas, which are homemade stuffed tortillas filled with meat, beans, cheese, or vegetables. She takes orders from family and friends and cooks in her kitchen at home. Food could mean a lot of different things to everyone. It can help people feel hope, joy, or happiness, like it does for Walter Gonzalez.
De mí creo que solo me gusta comer.
I love to eat. Food is what brings me the most joy when I return from work because it brings me comfort and connects me with my family. Starting a food business does not only help her provide for her family, but it also allows her to encourage people to celebrate different cultures and identify the importance of family. Growing up in a family of 13, she says food was always the one thing her family could agree on. Like in many cultures, Hispanic families express love and comfort with food. Moreno Portillo hopes to keep the traditions of her family alive and says she will continue to express cultural pride. And trying Hispanic food is just one way to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. And if you've never tried a pupusa before, give it a try. You won't be disappointed. In the Digital News Media Center, I'm Eliza Portillo. I'll send it back to you.
Eliza, thank you. Claudia Sheinbaum has become the first female president in Mexico's history. She was inaugurated on October 1st in Mexico City. Last summer, she won the presidency by 32 points. It was one of the largest margins of victory in the nation's history.
October is Principal Appreciation Month. Our Tony Santos explains the determination and critical role that principals can have on students and the education system.
You may or may not know this, but October is actually Principal Appreciation Month. And I like to think that someone like yourself has had some type of influential figure in their lives. Maybe so influential that because of them, you've made career choices. Now that special someone can be, a teacher, a parent, a grandparent, a public figure, but for others, that special someone, could be a principal.
I want students to remember me as that principal who cared, that principal who provided for them an education that got them ready for the world.
Principal Awareness Month is a celebration and highlight of the effort that principals put in week and week out. It's fair to say that principals sculpt the education a student can receive, but shaping the future of young students, that starts with the principal.
My mission is to make sure that I prepare my kids to be college, career, and life ready. So that's what I want them to remember me as that principal who made the difference, who offered them a voice, who gave them the tools that they will need in life. Never give up, because the sky's the limit. As long as you have the perseverance, as long as you continue to try and you don't give up, you can make it.
For Granada Hills Elementary School here in Granada Hills, I'm Tony Santos. Back to you in the studio.
Tony, thank you. SpaceX has launched a rescue mission for 2 NASA astronauts who are stuck in space. The rescue mission reached the International Space Station, but it will still be a while until the astronauts can return back to Earth. The astronauts say that they have the confidence the spacecraft will bring them back home.
Renting in unincorporated Los Angeles is about to be safer. The Department of Public Health will be implementing a new rental inspection program in November. The Rental Housing Habitability Program will partner with landlords and local governments to conduct inspections at least every 4 years to make sure the building is up to code. Landlords will be charged a fee for the inspections, but rent is not allowed to be raised more than $3.58 per month for each applicable rental unit.
Nearly 400 gallons of oil was spilled in the Smith Canal in Stockton. The California Department of Fish and Wildlife was notified of the petroleum oil spill, which appears to be from an oil burner that maxed out its capacity. Officials are now investigating this as an illegal dumping case and are still searching for the person who caused the spill.
More than 90,000 people are being urged to shelter in place in Georgia after a chemical plant fire. Georgia officials say that the fire at the chemical plant released toxic smoke into the air. The Emergency Management Agency of the Atlanta and Fulton area are still investigating reports of a strong chemical smell throughout the Fulton County.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. The Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation has kicked off its 3-day walks. It is an organization that invests in breakthrough research to prevent and cure breast cancer. The foundation was named after Susan Komen, who died after a 3-year battle with breast cancer in 1980 at the age of 36. Like the organization, the goal of this month is to promote the screening and prevention of the disease. It is recommended that women get a mammogram every 2 years starting at age 40.
Former President Jimmy Carter is reaching a milestone as he is turning 100 years old. This day comes after Carter has been in hospice care since February of last year. Carter is now the oldest living president in the U.S. history.
Billie Jean King has become the first female athlete to be awarded a Congressional Gold Medal. The legendary tennis player and women's rights advocate was awarded this honor for her trailblazing achievements devoted to fighting for equal rights for all. This is a historic moment and paves a path for gender equality in sports.
Legendary singer, songwriter, and actor Kris Kristofferson has died at the age of 88 in his home in Hawaii. Kristofferson was best known for his role in A Star is Born alongside Barbra Streisand, as well as writing the country song Help Me Make It Through the Night. His cause of death has not been revealed. His family says he passed away peacefully.
October is bringing new movie releases, including the long-awaited and anticipated release of the sequel to Joker coming to theaters October 4th. A Saturday Night Live movie is coming to theaters on October 11th, highlighting the backbone of the infamous comedy show. Venom: The Last Dance is Tom Hardy's third Venom movie. It comes out on October 25th.
40 parrots were rescued from a dire situation in Kentucky due to animal hoarding. A Nashville sanctuary has taken the parrots in to be examined and taken care of. The sanctuary hopes the community can come together and send in donations to support the care of the birds. The sanctuary also says that the parrots will be available for adoption soon.
Well, we talked about the hurricane weather earlier. Pretty devastating for the families involved, wouldn't you say?
A very intense hurricane for sure. I know our Jess Brumana has more details on the hurricane.
Thank you, Alexa. Hurricane Helene made landfall last week, destroying communities in the American South. The storm hit land as a Category 4 hurricane that reached top speeds of over 125 miles per hour. Over 120 people across 6 different states have been killed. Aid from multiple organizations has made its way into the decimated areas, including from former President Donald Trump, who's personally partnered with a local aid group to distribute necessities in Georgia. The Atlantic Ocean isn't done sending storms up north, though. Tropical Depression 12 is developing in Ocean and is getting bigger. It's predicted to reach hurricane speeds, and when that happens, it'll be called Hurricane Kirk. The storm is taking a northwestern path, but is currently not predicted to hit land. However, it may affect transatlantic travel. Over on the Pacific, Hurricane John has flooded Acapulco, Mexico, and killed 8 people. With over a meter of rainfall, more than the area expects in a year, local communities are flooded and coastal mountains are overwhelmed. Landslides are occurring at a high rate, adding to the damages caused by the hurricanes. While the storm has dissipated, heavy rain is expected in the area, and local officials are continuing storm relief efforts. Counties across Northern California are having their power shut down due to fire concerns. Dry winds are expected to make their way through 13 counties. To prevent sparks, Pacific Gas and Electric are shutting things down. As of Monday, nearly 9,000 residents have been affected by the shutdowns across half of the at-risk counties. You can track planned shutdowns on the PG&E Outage Center. We talked a little bit about SoCal Transit Week earlier. Well, let's check the weather while you're planning your trip. This weekend, it's going to be hot. Saturday, we're going to hit triple digits, and the highs will be up there for the next few days. Midweek, we'll see the highs drop into the low 80s, and lows will stay in the 60s all week. Taking a trip to the beach. The heat wave this weekend will also hit the beach, but it's going to stay much cooler. Peaking in the low 80s, midweek temperatures will drop, but not as severely in the valley. It'll stay in the low 70s, high 60s, and lows will be in the mid to low 60s all week. Heading inland, the weekend heat highs will stay around 90 degrees. Midweek, the highs will simmer down to the high 70s and lows will stay in the low 60s all week. At SoFi Stadium, it'll be 85 degrees for the start of the Rams' home game against the Packers this Sunday. It'll get a few degrees hotter by the end of the game, but it won't fluctuate too much. The evenings will usher in a low 86 degrees. Dodgers, college, and more sports are just ahead here on Valley View News.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
In 4 days. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children. She didn't know what to do.
Did you have a good day at school?
She gave them some broth without any bread.
There you go.
And kissed them all soundly.
Night night.
Good night. And put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to Valley View News. It was a big weekend in sports. Alexa, did you happen to catch any of the games?
I did. I watched the Chargers game and versus the Chiefs, and it was great. I was hoping to see Taylor Swift, but I didn't. But it was still a good game. Did you catch any games?
I did. I watched the 49ers and the Patriots. It sucks that, going back to you about the Chargers game, that, the Chargers had to lose, one of our local teams. More on our local teams with our sports anchor, Charlie Gonzalez. Charlie?
Thank you, Spencer. Yeah, it was another exciting weekend for collegiate and professional sports in Los Angeles. It was sunny Saturday afternoon for USC's Big Ten home opener against the Wisconsin Badgers. This was Wisconsin's first trip to Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum in 58 years and 4 days. USC scored first on a Miller Moss touchdown pass to Jacoby Lane. Wisconsin took an 11-point lead before halftime off an interception and a pair of touchdowns by running back Tawee Walker. After a first half full of mistakes, USC flipped the switch. Jacoby Lane and Deuce Robinson each had a touchdown reception in the third quarter to regain the lead. Wisconsin would not score again. USC won 38-21, moving up to number 11 in the AP's top 25 teams of Week 6. I really don't want to relive this next nightmare, but let's get to it. UCLA had another rough outing against the Oregon Ducks at the Rose Bowl Saturday night. An opening drive touchdown and an interception off Ethan Garbers gave Oregon a 2-score lead early in the second quarter. Garbers completed just 12 passes for 118 yards and threw 2 interceptions before leaving the game with an injury in the fourth quarter. On the opposite side of the ball, the defense continued to struggle, failing to sack the opposing quarterback for the third game in a row. UCLA fell to 1-3 and Oregon remains undefeated. The Bruins travel to play Penn State Saturday with kickoff scheduled for 9 in the morning. At least sports fans in Los Angeles are on the same page about this next game. With home field advantage through the World Series locked up and the Rockies eliminated from playoff contention, the Dodgers were laid back for their final regular season game. Charlie Blackmon played in his final game after spending his entire 14-year career with the Rockies. The Dodgers scored 2 runs in the 8th inning to take the lead. Chris Taylor homered into right field to tie the game. With 2 runners in scoring position, Seth Halverson balked, and Austin Barnes scored the go-ahead run. Final score, Dodgers 2, Rockies 1. The boys in blue will now look ahead to the NLDS. And here's the postseason bracket as of today. Mets-Braves doubleheader will determine the final 2 wildcard spots. A sweep will put the winner and the Diamondbacks in, but a series split will send both the Mets and Braves to the postseason. Now, the Mets did win Game 1, final 8-7, so Diamondbacks were set to root for the team who won Game 1, so they're Diamondbacks fans or Mets fans right now. A battle of 2 NFL former number 1 overall picks took place in Chicago on Sunday. Matthew Stafford and the Rams faced the Bears led by Caleb Williams. The Bears' first 3 drives ended in punts, and the Rams scored 2 field goals on their first 2 drives. But then, Matthew Stafford fumbled deep in Rams territory, giving the Bears prime field position. This swayed the momentum of the game. The Bears scored 1 minute later on a 1-yard rushing touchdown by Roshan Johnson. The Bears kicked a 40-yard field goal to take a 10-6 lead at the half. The Rams lost 24-18, falling to 1-3 on the season. Their next game is Sunday at home against the 2-2 Green Bay Packers. CSUN had its annual ice hockey alumni game Saturday afternoon. The 2 teams are a mix of current and former players, with each team wearing either red or white. It was great to see all the players from 6 different decades, going back from the 70s when the ice hockey team was first founded and now to 2024. Some guys are in their late 60s, early 70s, still suiting up, and they're still in like Southern California, and they come out. It really was a great game, and it was nice to talk to them a little bit, interview, and even my colleagues at MSN were marveling at how they still have that fire in them, to go out and skate down the ice at full speed when you're that old. It's really impressive. And that's all for right now. I'm going to toss it back to Alexa and Spencer.
Charlie, thank you for that report. Earlier this month, 80-year-old Choi Soon-hwa was unveiled as a finalist in the Miss Universe Korea competition. The Miss Universe organization enforced a strict age restriction for women participating in the competition, but this year it was lifted. Choi started her modeling career at 72 years old to help pay off her debts, and she says this is a dream come true for her and says that she has the support of her children and grandchildren.
That's all for us at Valley View News. I'm Spencer Ferreira.
And I'm Alexa Kosten. For stories any time of day, see our YouTube channel at Valley View News and our Instagram page at Valley View News CSUN.